You've fallen into a state of mind known as stimulus dimension. I'm a resident of the realm and your host, Dennell. This entity delves into the source of environmental ills we are faced within the black community and the world abroad, while bearing the vendetta of restoring the integrity of hip-hop culture and quality of radio listening as a whole. Cometh, watch, and listen as we are both enlightened with a true learning experience. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Stimulus Dimension. I'm your host, Dennell. Today's segment is entitled Inside the Belly of the Beast with Darius Solo Beast Estell, a mixed martial artist and a good friend of mine. Without any further ado, meet Darius Solo Beast Estell.
Hello, how you doing?
Yeah, before we get into the program, Darius, just tell us, what do you like to do outside of mixed martial arts?
What do you do outside of mixed martial arts?
You see, he got the one-track mind. He's an android, a robot. He's on that mission. But yeah, you can.
Let's see, I enjoy long walks to the gym. Honestly though, just family time. Just relaxing with my family. I'm also in school full time, so a lot of studying, family, and then if it's not the martial arts gym, it's the fitness gym. So,
what were you going to school again? With sports medicine, right?
Yeah, I just graduated with my sports management degree with an associates, and now I'm pursuing exercise science, which is sports medicine. Yeah, it's the same thing. So that's what's next up on the docket.
Okay. Well, our first question would be, what exactly does solo beast mean?
Solo beast means a loner in a pack. I'm still a beast. So it doesn't matter if I'm by myself or with a team or friends. When I'm there, I'm a beast. It doesn't matter who I'm with, whether I'm by myself or with a pack. In a nutshell.
Okay. Well, I've noticed over a period of time, different conversations we've had, you seem to have an affinity for or favor the wolf. Mm-hmm. Why this particular animal?
Man, I think that wolves are awesome. It's my favorite animal. It's probably my spirit animal. But I love the just everything about the wolf and the nature, the way they're raised and the way they go about. So it doesn't matter if a wolf is a lone wolf or in a pack. They're still going to hunt. They're still going to be successful. A lot of times when a wolf pack gives birth, those cubs, once they reach an adolescent age, they're sent off on their own. And a lot of times that wolf has to kind of make its way in the wild, fend for himself until finally it's able to start its own pack. So I just believe it refers to like a life type of journey. Like, you're born in this world with just yourself, so you got to go out there, and at first you may be alone, but then as time goes on, you eventually form a pact and a connection with other individuals who are like-minded or who may just look up to you and follow you. Before you know it, you have your own pack, your own tribe. A wolf is a very ferocious animal. So I've always liked wolves. That's just my favorite animal.
So beware full moon. Darius lurks. So what are the ups and downs of being a pugilist? For those that don't know, pugilist means fighter.
I learned that too. Pugilist. So I'm a pugilist, not a fighter. The ups and downs of being a fighter. Well, it depends. You mean like a good fighter or just a fighter? Because you can just get beat up a lot, But if you want to be a good fighter, you got to train a lot. You got to put your all into it. You got to believe in yourself. It's a lot of sacrifice, a lot of long hours, dedication. It's not just what you see on TV. There's a lot of injuries involved, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that go into being a fighter. And there's different levels where you could be talking about, a guy who gets into fights on the street is a street fighter, is that a fighter, or we could be talking about an amateur and they're not getting paid, or you could be talking about a professional. All three different levels. I think when I was a kid, all I did was get in street fights, and then when I became an adult, I became an amateur fighter. I wasn't being paid, but I loved it so much that I still did it. Now I'm a professional fighter and I'm being paid, and basically, for me, it's not work. I love what I do. I've always loved fighting, and now I'm just at an opportunity where I'm being paid to do what I love. So I think that with anything, whether it be hip hop or an architect or an astronaut or a fighter, you don't love what you do, it's going to be very, very hard. Because no matter what profession you're looking at, behind the scenes, there's a lot of work that goes into it. There's some days I may, train and work out 6 hours a day. And then there's some days where even my off days, I'm still going to do a couple hours in. So 6-7 days a week. There's a lot into it, and it's even more so outside of the gym. Now you got to go to politics and management, and so there's so much that goes into it. So some of the downs, I would say, is the grinding process of going through the injuries, the setbacks, the maybe not being paid, and then starting off at the bottom, being paid a little bit, and then raises, and then you may have issues in your personal life. So just staying focused and grounded. It's one of the major struggles in that. But the positive side, hopefully you love what you do. You're having fun. You're enjoying it. You're being paid for what you're doing. And like everyone, you want to get to the top where you're getting paid those big bucks, right? So the ups will be the journey. The challenge, loving what you do. Your body is physically and mentally in shape. You're just more prepared for life. And I believe that martial arts teaches so much. So that's what I would say. Some of the offset ups and downs.
But that's pretty much the consensus with everything, having that passion. That's the foundation for everything you do, and everything else to take care of itself.
It should be with anything like that.
Yeah. In your opinion, what are the martial arts?
So, the martial arts, to me, it speaks for itself. Think of that second word, art, right? So an artist, they create their work. There's many different type of arts. The thing I love about martial arts is me and you, we can learn the exact same styles, but we have a completely different technique and style because it's an art. It's a representation of yourself. Like same with music or hip hop. No matter what you learn, it becomes you. You become a part of it. So once you put yourself into the equation, you start to make your own art. So that's the beautiful thing about martial arts. And another aspect of what I like about it is the competition aspect. So now you learn your art. You believe in your art and ability and craft so much that you take it into adversity. Same with hip hop. You release your albums and you want people to like it. Your stuff is good, but at the same time, you want to have it on the big screen and all over the radio and have it verified. What's the same with competition? You train every day. You believe in your skills, and now you're going to go against another man or woman who also trains and believes in themselves. And when you have two people who absolutely know they're going to win, and you put them in a cage or a ring together, it creates art. It's beautiful. It's beauty because only one can win. Minus a draw. So it's beautiful. As if anything. When you put your passion into something, it's art.
Yeah. Question. Oh, you have a question?
May I ask a question now?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Y'all, this is London Hip's producer. I always got a question.
Hey.
But since we have somebody here that does that live arts, and when you see it on television, sometimes it looks like it's a whole lot of pain happening to the people. And I want to know, is there pain, or is it an art? Is it where that between the two artists that you know how to do it, so you won't hurt each other, but it looks like you're hurtful? Or is this a secret?
No, there's no script.
Or is it really?
No.
Could it be just? Is it really? I mean, sometimes like people are getting a lot of pain.
Yeah, well,
that's part of it.
I got hit the other day in my stomach, and then I was like, I think he was. Well, it was another story, but I looked at him because he was trying to show me a technique, and I looked at him like, yeah, you did that on purpose. But, I'm gonna control myself, So yeah.
So you were in your arts class?
Yeah.
Rehearsing?
Training.
Training?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that training too.
That's where we met. We both used to train at the same time.
Okay. So now, so the job. So when you're actually on, everybody's coming to pay to watch you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it real pain going forth, or?
Not to sound cliche, but no pain, no gain. So you got to be willing to risk getting hurt in order to succeed and be successful.
That's all part of the game.
Yeah, if you're not willing to get in there and risk the pain, like there's no faking it. They're not going to pull punches, and you're not going to pull punches.
Well, I would say faking it, but stunt. Is it like stuntful?
No, there's no stunts involved in a real fight. Maybe you're wrestling or something, but no, there's no script, no.
See, there you go. Now with the wrestlers, I do think.
Yeah, those.
Now some of them still like they get slammed pretty hard.
Well, see, the thing is, even with the script, you can still be injured because you're still, doing physical activity. So anything can happen. Worse so in a fight because I don't care who you are in a fight, anything can happen. Whether it's a punch you didn't see or a kick or, with the scripts and like wrestling, like your WWE, they have a script, but at the same time, you can't control the laws of nature and physics. If you're slamming someone from the top,
It's gonna hurt.
You can get hurt.
So you got hurt. I'm sorry. You got hurt training.
I wasn't hurt, but it was kind of.
It was a little shocking pain.
Because I wasn't expecting.
You wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, but
that's part of the training.
Yeah, if I knew it was coming, I could have breathed out like, and I didn't know it was coming,
okay.
So I was off guard and my body wasn't prepared.
So that if you brace yourself a certain kind of way with your training, once the punch comes, it won't hurt because you kind of.
No techniques to deflect or absorb.
The key to knocking someone out is the one that you don't see.
Yeah.
It's always
I've
the one
seen
that
that
you
happen
don't see
to a lot of
you.
fighters. Yeah.
Thank you.
My next question would be, with great power comes great responsibility. Do you think that martial arts dojos should exercise discretion when selecting students to prevent the martial arts from being used for evil?
No, be a bully, beat everyone up, take what you want, give that no nonsense. Yes, great power comes great responsibility, yeah. That's a two-part question. Yes, I believe that with great power does come great responsibility because, it's so easy to be overtaken by the ability to overpower someone. It's so easy to be corrupted by your sense of power. And we see that in so many different aspects in life. So with martial arts, personal walk of life, when people learn martial arts and they truly embody and embrace it, then you no longer have that urge to go out and become, a bully or use your power against each other. I think that it becomes more so of a protect yourself. You want to, feel confident in your own abilities and yourself, and then also be able to protect, your loved ones should the time arise where you need to use that. Or now, do some people misuse it? Yes, they do. We're human. No one's perfect. No such thing as perfect. But more often than not, you find that when people learn martial arts or any type of sport, whether it's football or basketball, I like martial arts because I think that you can start that as a kid and it journeys throughout your entire life. Whereas football, it may be while you're little league and then you can't do it for,
Martial arts are forever.
But martial arts are forever. And to me, what it does for you is it builds a sense of confidence and self-worth that you can't take away. You just believe in yourself more. It teaches more than just how to fight. It teaches you that you are your own entity. You're your own weapon. You're your comfort. You can hold your own in any given situation. You're able to defend yourself. Now, with that being said, yes, still get your gun permit. But with martial arts, it can be used for evil, but it's the same with the guy with a gun. Like, you can use a gun for bad purposes. You can go rob a bank. Or you can be an officer of the law and you can catch the bank robber. It's more so what the person does with that art that he's learning. And most instructors, they teach discipline, how to apply yourself and what to use that art for. So most people, they go into a form of discipline, and it really does help, especially in our youth. What was the second part of that question, if I didn't answer it all?
I think you did answer it all. Well, I did say, do you think dojos should use discretion in taking students? That's kind of difficult.
I can't really say they should because you never know what type of individual you're getting sometimes, and some people are in a really bad place. And to just turn someone away because they have a bad track record is wrong.
Yeah.
You never know. Someone might just need that extra push, that extra compassion, or just a piece of guidance that could change their lives. And martial arts and all type of sports have done that with so many athletes. So to turn someone away because they have a bad track record would be wrong. So not so much discretion in choosing, because I think you should open your arms and be willing to teach and educate anyone willing to learn. Because in order to walk into that, martial arts gym or dojo, wherever you train, you have to have a want for knowledge and wanting to better yourself and be there. So they should be welcomed with open arms. However, I do believe that once you begin learning martial arts or whatever sport that you choose to pursue, then it should be a focus on how to apply yourself and what to use that for. Education on how to use that power, as opposed to just giving you the power and throwing you to the wolves.
And that's what I wanted to touch on too. The martial arts gives you that discipline where you don't have that insecurity where you feel I need to go and hurt somebody to prove myself, my masculinity, my self-worth. It gives you that discipline. If you notice, all evildoers have that insecurity, like you were saying, somebody that wants to rob a bank. Okay, I'm hungry, I need to do something drastic. But the martial arts will give you that discipline and confidence where, okay, I can do something productive to change my predicament. So I totally agree with you.
So I want to go with what you just said about the evil doers. So evil and good, it's a very thin line. It depends on who you're asking, because both sides are going to believe they're righteous. So you can't really classify. You can. Some acts are completely evil. I agree. But for the most part, good and evil has a very thin line, because if you ask the terrorist what he's doing, he's going to say he's a freedom fighter. If you ask, our guys over here, what we're doing, we're protecting freedom and the nation. So it's a very thin line between good and evil. That guy who's robbing the bank, like you just said, he may be starving and hungry. So we're going to call him evil, but in his justified mind, he's not evil.
Yeah.
He's protecting his family and loved ones. So it's a very thin line between evil and good. And another thing about martial arts is, again, we go back into you're creating an extension of yourself through your art. So a good instructor, that's a line quote by Bruce Lee, not verbatim, but the best instructor isn't someone who tells you how to think, but they guide you to know how to create your own line of thinking. So not so much give you the answers, but they help you to find your own answers. So a teacher should be more so of a guide than a giving you a law. And I think that there's most places with gyms martial arts and martial arts, that should be the focus. So yeah. I'm an evildoer in some stories too.
That's what we have in common. We're both villains.
Our hometown heroes.
Yes, man. We can both be villains at times.
They tell the story, I'm evil. If I tell it, I'm a good guy. Go ahead.
Can I make a comment?
Oh, go ahead.
Because I was listening to you talk about the evildoers, and it's a fine line between evil and good, and where it comes from that perspective of that particular person, what they're doing and why they're doing it. I remember taking a sociology class. I'm trying to think if I went to University of Cincinnati. I don't know if it was here or there, but it was interesting because he was saying it is a fine line between that, because it depends on why the person's doing it. If he's hungry, it's called survival. And then by law, so it's like a lawful thing. Did you break the law? Or did you have 5 kids at home that's hungry and the baby needs diapers and it's cold and dad needs to find a way to get some food? And if he finds a way to get food to feed his kids, it's still wrong, but it was a point of survival.
And even laws, like, is the law just? Because there's been a lot of laws where it wasn't always a good law. So it goes.
Yeah, it's wrong to steal, but then it's a survival. He's surviving.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that, and they're like, wow, that's you can either be surviving, or if you just decide you want to go and break in and steal stuff because you just want to get something out of there, then you're breaking the law. Yeah. I guess you said, like, so if they went to court and he went in front of the judge and the judge said, sir, you broke in there, you stole all this food, baby diapers, whatever, and you got caught. So why did you do that? So I guess it's up on the judge if he thinks, okay, this man was suffering. Mm-hmm. Maybe he'll give it to him light because he was surviving. Think about all those kids that was hungry. You got to get food. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we don't want people to do that. But I learned that in in the study. I'm like, wow, okay. That's kind of like what you all were saying.
Yeah, philosophy and psychology are 2 of my favorite subjects.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's really hard to put a category in evil. Now, there are certain things that I do find evil. Like,
I believe that was sociology for me. I'm sorry.
Sociology?
Yeah. I'm saying they all kind of go.
Because there's a sociologist, he coined a philosophy called the conflict model, Karl Marx, and it deals with that, committing evil acts to, because it justifies the means. So that's very true. And then you have opportunity structures, which is, commit evil acts just because you have the opportunity to.
And that's like you're saying, committing an evil act doesn't mean that person is necessarily evil.
Yeah.
But then there are people who are just evil and committing the act.
There are.
It's getting deep, don't it?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a Batman quote. He says about the Joker. He says, some people don't want anything logical like money. It can't be bought, bullied, bargained, or negotiated with. Some people just want to see the world burn. And people like that, they exist. So there is a such thing as evil, but I think most of the time when we say the term evil, we throw it out there so loosely when we don't understand fully the depth of a person's situation or what happens. You know, and I think that's what we fall to our jury and our judge, that hopefully they're trained better in the aspects of judgment, so they can kind of look at things from different angles and get to the bottom, you know, in the heart of the situation. So, yeah.
Going on to the next question, we were talking about the other day, and I mentioned earlier, the trainer Cus D'Amato, whose most notable achievements would probably be his success with Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, and Jose Torres. But he was saying the difference between a hero and a coward is there is no difference. They both feel the same when they're faced with the same situations. What the hero does that the coward doesn't do, that makes him the hero and the coward the coward. Do you agree with his assertion with these two opposing sides, where their emotions that they feel in the encounter, the same emotions they feel in the encounter? Do you agree with his assertion?
Cus D'Amato was a very wise man, and you know, I do. So fear has two meanings. Basically, I'll diverse it in coward and hero. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Coward and hero, right? Mm-hmm. So I do agree. They feel the same thing. Everyone gets anxiety. Everyone feels fear. I don't care who you are. Don't let someone lie to you and say that they're fearless. It doesn't happen. But the way you handle and assess that and what you do next determines hero and coward. So I absolutely agree with Cus D'Amato's theory on that. I remember Muhammad Ali, one of my favorite fighters ever. He was saying that when he first fought for the title, he had never been more afraid in his life. He was terrified when he fought
Sonny
Liston, and he said he was so scared that they almost stopped the fight. His heart was beating so fast. He said he just had to keep talking and just keep talking trash because the fear. So he said he had never been more scared in his life. And the doctor almost stopped the fight and didn't let it go because his heart was racing so bad. And that's one of the greatest fighters of all time, the world champion. You know, people who look up to him today as like this fearless, giant of a titan. I don't care who you are, everyone feels fear. But what you do with that fear is what determines whether, like Cus D'Amato said, you're a hero or a coward. Face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. Fight or flight. So, yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead, man.
I got to say something about this coward thing. What would they say? If you fight, we see what they say. You can fight and get killed, or the coward. If you run and live to fight another day. What about that?
That's being smart, pretty much.
Well, it depends. So it goes back into what you're fighting for, and depending on the situation. Because there are some instances where only a fool would stand. So I'll reflect back to when I was a kid. I used to love getting in the street fights. And there was one situation where there was about 100 guys. I'm not even exaggerating. It was back then, school wars, and it was just me and a cousin of mine. Now, sure, I could run into this crowd of about 100 students, all coming about 2 blocks, running toward us, yelling. Great. I could go do that. What will I gain from that? Probably not a lot, whether they're high school or dead. Or I can retreat, go get my friends from school, and come back with another army, which we did.
Even the store.
So there comes a time where you have to use intelligence and wisdom.
Common sense, right?
Common sense. Now let's flip the script now. Say that your mom or sister has a broken leg and they can't retreat, and these people are coming and they're attacking and they can't escape. Now I'm faced with a situation where if I run, something's going to happen to my family. Yeah. So at that point, now I have to assess do I care about myself to run and retreat, or I'm going to stand and protect those.
And so there comes a coward.
Exactly. So it just.
I watch my level get jacked, and I'm going like a mouse and run away. Yeah. That's more of a coward.
That's a coward. Because I don't know about me.
It's different. It's different level category.
Depending on the situation.
Yeah, it depends. Because you have to take into intelligence in the situation. You have to now. In the martial arts aspect, we know what we're doing. We signed the contract, we signed the waiver, we know what we're doing. So we're coming be prepared to go in there, and test our mettle, per se, against the opposition. So, and this happens. People get in there and they freeze and they shock and they just give up. This happens. Coward, yes. So, depending on the situation, I believe is what can kind of determine if you're a coward or a hero per se. I don't even like to use the term hero as much, but sure.
Anti-hero.
I like anti-hero. Yeah, but so it just depends on the situation, But I would say that not standing up for yourself makes you a coward, because I do believe that you should always stand up for yourself, especially if it's the right thing to do in a situation. And standing up for yourself doesn't always mean starting an altercation. It just means not being walked over and not letting ones you care about being walked over. So just on the lowest form of hero versus coward, I would say it's the ability to stand up for yourself.
My next question. The story of David and Goliath has become symbolic of willpower over human adversity. In your life or in your career, what giants, so to speak, have you had to conquer in order to be successful?
Ooh, man, that story is a long story, but I'll try to skim through it. We all have obstacles in life. I've definitely gone through my share. I was a kid from Detroit, just kind of wilding out back then. I was told, just like every other stereotypical kid, hey, you're not going to graduate, you're going to go to prison, you're going to be dead. And in that mind, I never, ever, ever thought I would live past 21. I was just like, whatever. I was just succumb to my environment, in a lesser time, out in the streets, committing all type of acts of evil, we'll put. So I think a great obstacle would be kind of awakening to living in life and how precious it is in yourself. I joined the Army at 17, and I went special operations, and I remember I was the only non-infantry class MOS, and I was the only African American at that time, and we had a class of 60, and only 12 of us graduated. And I remember before I even went, they said, oh, you're not going to make it. Like, there's no one, first they said that, there's no one who's not an infantry class MOS who can survive this type of training. It's harsh, it's crazy, you're going to fail. For me, I've always used that as my motivation. When someone tells me I can't do something, it inspires me to do it. So that was one of the things that I kind of overcame. Jail. Man, I've gone through a lot there. To be honest with you, I think one of the hardest things to overcome is your own self-doubt and your own disbelief in what you can accomplish and achieve, because. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just believing in yourself and overcoming all the doubt and negativity in the world, because it's going to come all over from all types of people. So a lot of times you have to overcome that own self-doubt and overcome the demons in your mind.
Well, I'll get to this last question, man. Over time, all successful conquerors began with the dream of the conception that greatness is within their grasp. This belief is then gradually built on until a mighty empire has been amassed. Once such an extensive following has been gained, it becomes the support and driving force behind the pursuit of larger goals. Alexander the Great, Shaka Zulu, Hannibal, and Julius Caesar are prime examples of this personality type. Do you feel you carry the mind state of a conqueror in your aspirations?
Yes, I do. One of my favorite conquerors was Genghis Khan, and one of his quotes was, "Behold, for I am the punishment of God. For had you not committed great sins, God would not have sent the punishment like me upon you." So I look at a lot of those conquerors, and I love history. One man can change the world. It's been shown in people like Dr. King. It's been shown in people like Alexander the Great, or Genghis Khan, or a bad guy we may call him, but even someone like a Hitler. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the United Nations. We all came together as a world to stop that ultimate evil. So yeah, one person can change the world. Whether that be good or bad is completely up to you. Hopefully it's for the good, but I do believe that I was put here for a purpose and to change the world. There's a lot of issues that I want to conquer in my time span. I don't like the educational system, and there's a lot of things that I hope to accomplish in my tenure that unless I, unfortunately died or something that I will accomplish. But yeah, one man can change the world. We have many witnesses, like Mother Teresa, people, Gandhi. One person can do a lot. So believe in yourself.
It's time to go, but I just gotta say something. He said something about David and Goliath, how he conquered the giant. So he had higher powers other than themselves, and that's something that we all need to have besides something within us, right?
Yes.
And then one person that changed the world, as far as we know it, for holiday and Christmas is Jesus. One man changed the destiny of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I think you have a great show today.
Oh, thank you.
Another great show.
Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know what kind of time you guys have to stick around, because I'm doing a show around 5 something with a young fella like you guys. I don't know if you have time, but I'd like to invite you to be my guest on that show if you can, because it's about the young man out here doing something positive, and you're getting into the depth of his life, where he came from, what he's doing. You told me about some things that changed your life. There's a young guy that's coming here today, about 5'10". I don't know if you got time.
I gotta go punch people in the face.
Uh-oh.
At training.
Okay, well, maybe we'll get together again next time. That'll be on my show.
All right.
Okay?
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate the
Awesome.
support. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Darius Solo Beast Estell. I'm Dennell Young, your host. Thanks for tuning in into another episode of Stimulus Dimension. You've fallen into a state of mind known as Stimulus Dimension. I'm a resident of the realm and your host, Dennell Young. This entity delves into the source of environmental ills we are faced within the black community and the world abroad, while bearing the vendetta of restoring the integrity of hip-hop culture and quality of radio listening as a whole. Cometh, watch, and listen as we are both enlightened with a true learning experience.